You have made a pact with one of the rarest kinds of genie, a noble genie. Such entities few rule vast fiefs on the elemental plane and have great influence over lesser jinns and elemental creatures. Noble genies are varied in their motivations, but most are arrogant and wield power that rivals that of lesser deities. They delight in turning the tables on mortals, who often bind genies into servitude and readily enter into pacts that expand their reach.
What more could you want in a class? You get free rent. In this day and age, that's all you need.
G'day team, I'm Luke from Big Game Small Pieces, and tonight I've got with me once again Mitch from Among Mates.
Hey!
So, we're going to go through djinns and people who've taken pacts with them, being warlocks in this case. Mitch, do you want to run us through some of the stats we got on these things?
Alright, so the first thing we have to note is that the genie has 4 different types. Basically, you get 4 of the elements. You get the Tao, the Jinn, the Afridi, and the Merid, representing earth, fire, air, and water, irrespectively, because I messed that order up. However, each of these elemental forces come with their own spell list, so this could be the perfect subclass for you. All genie subclasses get this Detect Good and Evil, Phantasmal Force, Create Food and Water, Phantasmal Killer, Creation, which is a good one to abuse sometimes, and Wish, which is the ultimate abusal spell. Then, each of the 4 genie types get their own spells at different levels. So we have the Tao, the Jinn, the Afridi, and the Merid, all getting rock, wind, fire, and water spells accordingly.
Yeah, I think some of them are really good, and you look at that spell list, and some of you just screams. There's a particular one on there that seems better than the others.
And this one right here, this is my favorite. Oh, wait, hang on, maybe over here. There you go. How's that for editing? And that one over there. This one's my favorite.
Such a bad place point.
Yeah. Just made your life's misery. From there, we're going to go on to the actual abilities you get with this subclass. The first of which is actually my personal favorite. Genies Vessel.
Yeah.
The free rent option. So at first lift, the patron gifts you with a magical vessel that grants you a measure of the genie's power. This vessel is a tiny object, and you can use it as a spellcasting focus for your warlock spells. You decide what the object is, and you can determine randomly, or you could determine randomly by rolling on the genie's vessel table. Don't roll. Just make up something cool. Off the top of my head, I want to say an ornate music box with like a little winder, and you got to wind it 3 times, and that's how you get the djinn to come out, or the genie.
And I'd probably have to play 1 or 2 warlocks before I can get past that lamp.
While touching the vessel, you can use Bottle Respite as an action. You can magically vanish and enter your vessel, which remains in the space you left. The interior of the vessel is an extra dimensional space in the shape of a 20-foot radius cylinder, 20 foot high, and resembles your vessel. The interiors are pointed with cushions and low tables at very comfortable temperature. While inside, you can heat the area around your vessel as if it was, as if you were in its space.
Yep.
You can remain inside the vessel up to a number of hours equal to twice your proficiency bonus, and you exit the vessel early if you use your bonus action to leave. Also, first level, you also get Genie's Wrath. Once during each of your turns, when you hit with an attack roll, you can deal extra damage to the target equal to your proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
This type of damage is determined by your patron, that being bludgeoning for the Tao, thunder damage for the Jinn, fire for the Afridi, and cold damage for the Merid.
I'd like to be able to enter the lamp a little bit more. I feel like that's a game I'd like to enjoy a little bit more. Like, I want to be able to run in, drop kick the lamp past everyone, and poof into it as it disappears, or hand it to someone and then pop back out the back. Like, I just feel like I only do it once a rest just isn't enough. I want to take advantage of playing around and getting up the shenanigans with this.
Yeah, it does seem weird. You can only go in there once a long rest. Probably because of the amount you can abuse this somehow.
Short rests, yeah. But that Jin's Wrath, like, I mean, the clear winner for me there is, well, fire seems good, and thunder and some other things, they don't get less resistance types. So if your ability's coming up soon, that bludgeoning damage, and you get your, I believe, your next ability, that's when it starts paying dividends.
Yeah, the one thing I'm a little bit disappointed with is the extra damage equal to your proficiency bonus.
Mm.
It's like this was made for multi-classing. Not a big fan of that because, honestly, as soon as I see proficiency bonus, I know I don't need to level up in this too much more.
Mm.
It's just, at the start, it's not very much, and it's a cheap buy-in, and then you've got this thing that when you get more and more damage as your levels go up, but I just, I think it's just for flavor. Numerically, it's not going to do extra damage. You're not going to be beating down the enemies.
Yep.
And, yeah, I just think it could have been something a little bit extra.
Your vessel also, it's got some quick stats. They've put a little piece out there for you, and how to get it back if broken. So, basically, your AC equals your spell save DC for the lamp or the item that you're inside. Its hit points equal your warlock level plus your proficiency bonus, and it is immune to poison and psychic damage. If the vessel's destroyed or you lose it, I put it down somewhere and I don't know where it is. You can perform a 1-hour ceremony to receive a replacement from your patron. I can imagine getting scolded from that. And this ceremony can be performed during a short or long rest, and the previous vessel is destroyed if it still exists. The vessel vanishes in a flare of elemental power when you die.
So, elemental gift. Do you want to take this one away, mate?
Yeah, right. So at 6th level, you gain, you begin to take on the characteristics of your patron's kind. You now have resistance in that damage type determined by your patron's kind. So as we stated earlier, if you went Dow, you get bludgeoning. If you went Genie, you got thunder. If you got a Freedy, you got fire. And if you got Marid, you got cold. So you can really see where some of these things are going to start paying off in dividends now, and where potentially Dow is looking really good. In addition to this, you can also use your bonus action to give yourself a fly speed of 30 feet that lasts for 10 minutes, during which you can hover. You can also use this bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all extended use when you finish a long rest. So that's unconcentration fly. Oh, sorry, no concentration fly. That's getting real good.
Yeah, that's the most impressive thing in the whole build, especially with the recent nerf to the Aarakocra.
Mm-hmm.
This brings you up level with the best flyers in the game.
Yep.
At level 6. So at least it's a reason to stick around. Resistances are always great, and you can't look away from a bludgeoning resistance or cold resistance. They always come in handy. Fire for the big fireball, but that fly speed, 30 feet, that's going to be the top tier thing for this. Apart from one certain feature, that's the number one for me.
From which, yeah.
At 10th level, you get to enter your Genie's Vessel, and you can take up to 5 willing creatures with you that you can see within 30 feet, and those chosen creatures are drawn into the vessel with you. As a bonus action, you can eject a number of creatures from the vessel, and everyone is ejected if you leave or die or the vessel's destroyed. In addition, anyone, including you, that remains inside the vessel for at least 10 minutes gains the benefit of a short rest, and anyone can add your proficiency bonus to the number of hit points they regain if they spend any hit dice as a part of the short rest there.
Very quick short rest. Like that is now a acceptable dungeon short rest. We're just going to tuck the lamp or the ring or whatever item you've used. We're just going to hide it up here or down there, or take out a brick and hide it behind there and conceal it all up, and we're going to vanish into it. Take our short rest for 10 minutes and then get back out again. So I see why you can't go into the lamp too many times in a day as previously. It's a shame because it's still a fun thing I'd like to do. But that is just cool.
Yeah, I can see myself not using it for that rest feature very often, just because of the way I play. But drawing the 5 willing creatures in, that's just fantastic. Like, that's one of the spells that you could mechanically save the game, save the TPK by basically, throwing your lamp for you
Mhm.
or music box or whatever across the room, and as it leaves the 30-foot range, sucking you and your 5 mates into it,
Yep.
it goes the full 120 feet, and then you eject everyone out. I'm all right with this. That sounds amazing. And yeah, it just sounds like an abusable mechanic that I thoroughly would enjoy.
You can also get cheap seats when traveling. Everyone pops in and one person just holds the lamp and we all just travel together. We have a small
Yeah,
owl,
hijinks.
pick it up, and we fly. The owl flies off with the druid's companion or something like that, and we all just get to rest inside, and we all get to fly.
I could see the rest feature becoming bannable or at least targeted by some DMs. And unfortunately, that kind of feature is the sort of feature that the DMs that you are going to let you use it and be very happy with you use it are often the DMs that will allow you to have a short rest. So, socially speaking, it's not going to do too much, but mechanically speaking, it's amazing.
I think this class really got a lot of its stuff when it got its resistances and extra damages. I think that's where combat basic mechanics, you really squeeze the most out of it, and the rest of this lamp stuff's just a bit of fun to play around.
Limited wish.
Yeah, this is what we've been waiting for to a degree. At 14th level, you entreat your patron to grant you a small wish. As an action, you can speak with your you desire. You can speak your desire to your Genie's Vessel, whispering to your ring, your lamp, requesting the effect of a spell of 6th level or lower, and has a casting time of 1 action. That's worth paying attention to. The spell can be from any class spell list, and you don't have to meet the requirements of the spell, including cost components, and the spell simply takes effect as part of that action. But once this feature is used, you've got to wait 1d4 long rests before you can do it again. What do you think about that, Mitch?
Seems limited, but awesome. Limited, but unlimited. I thoroughly enjoy that. There's so many spells that come to mind, but
quick heal, revivify, a quick something, it's handy to bust out when all of a sudden we needed something that no one prepared, or they've burnt through all their spells and they turn to you. Oh, I've got one actually.
I like the feature, but I think it could add to that whole something's gone wrong. Okay, cleric, I'm going to get you to channel divinity. Okay, that failed. Okay, I'm going to get you to do this. Okay, that failed. All right, guys, I'm going to use my limited wish to cast that spell that failed, or get the same effect. But that's what we got this subclass for. We wanted our wish.
I get my wish. Not too
That's
bad.
what it's about.
So, looking over these types, knowing that we've got a lot of variety there, you could come back and play both an air, an earth, a fire, a water. You've got a bit of selection here. What did you like and what don't you like about the class, Mitch?
The unconcentrate fly speed is just god tier. I'll say it again, that is with the nerf of the Aarakocra recently in Monsters the Multiverse, 100% has risen this to one of the top subclasses for that feature. That's pretty much top fly speed in the game, or it's up there. Dislikes, I don't like the word willing for the sucking the creatures into their sanctuaries.
Want to grapple someone and suck them in with you, and then
I love the idea of, you're sitting there, your group's getting annihilated by these people, and you do the sacrifice and just pull them all in, and you're like, you're in my world now, bitch. And you just sit, you're fighting this epic fight, and then everyone else just sees a little oil lamp just bouncing around on the ground. Ding, 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 ding. Love that. Don't like that there's not a spell save. If it was in my game, I'd give you a spell save to suck unwilling creatures in. 100%.
Sounds good. I'll have to keep that in mind. I like this. I think it's a fun class while I'm playing one. I think the theme is great. I think everyone can link into the theme here. I mean, anyone who's watched Disney's Aladdin is probably all over this. Feels good. I don't like that you really don't get to go into the lamp a lot. It feels like a little bit of a shame that, I can't muck around. I can't quickly, someone's coming, everyone in the lamp. And then I've got to wait a fair few levels before I can get there. And a lot of campaigns may not get to that point so early, in which case we'll have solved it with some other way. So I feel like you might miss a chance to shine there to do something cool. Better simply just place your lamp tucked in behind a rug here or something like that, and everyone disappear in there.
And then character concept. What are you thinking for the character concept?
For my character concept, though, well, the next one I'm about to play is a noble Luxodon who's trying to track down a family heirloom and has got sworn into a deal with, I've gone with Dow. Dow's a little tougher. They don't like their subjects. They're so potentially not necessarily an agreement I wanted to get into, but I'm taking full advantage of why I'm there. If I'm working for him, he's working for me. And so, yeah, I'm going to be looking forward to playing a noble Luxodon who just likes to get himself into a bit of mischief, use that charisma, and see what hijinks I can come up with messing around with that lamp.
Nice. My personal concept for this is one of the races that I think gets overlooked a lot is the Eladrin. The seasonal elves.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You've got your spring, winter, autumn, and the other one. And basically, summer loving. Talk to your DM and work it. And my concept would literally be rolling a d4 like once a week or once every long rest, working it out with your DM how it's best to do it. Or if a certain thing happens in the story, i.e., put your own mechanic on there. Like, hey, if you're having a tough time or you take a certain amount, if you go past half hit points, you have to roll and change elemental force. And you lose all those spells and gain the other ones. And I don't know, I just love the concept of tying in the Jin, Tao, all those things in with the fact the Eladrins have the matching seasons.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can think of so many ways to play that with your DM, either from the DM choosing when you change. So you go to, like, guys, I got Stone Shape. I've got this great idea. And as you go to cast a spell, the DM rolls a luck roll or whatnot, and you change to a Marin, and all of a sudden you can control water, but it's no good for anyone.
I actually, when you say that, I actually think it's like if you started as a human, but the pact you have with the Jinn is slowly transforming you into an Eladrin of that type, and slowly you talk with your DM about swapping out an ability one for one, as you might lose the elf or the human, whatever you want to start at, and slowly become an Eladrin over the course of the campaign. That could also be good. You get affected by the pact that you've taken.
Definitely, that would be amazing. Also, I love the randomness of the DM sort of and the player coming up with a mechanic to change between those races. But also, definitely a gradual plan change would be very cool, especially with the elemental gifts at level 6 being so. You gain resistance, so obviously you start taking the form.
How about some tips for GMs running these in their parties?
As always with Warlocks, tell the DM what sort of end game fantasy, what thing you want to play, and have them tell you what they're willing to do, and work it out between you of what's the best way to go about.
Well, as I was saying, that once again, I think Warlocks really want to feel their pact to their patron. And as you were saying, like every player should do this. Talk with your GM. I'm starting here. By the end of the campaign, this is where I want to be. These are the kind of sticks I want to hit along the way to both bring out the story that you're both trying to achieve or work together on. The type of Jinn. So as the DM, you're probably worth going away and reading up on the different types of Jinn and how their attitudes are, and then talk with your player and make sure they're on board with exactly how that's being played, because you potentially will be playing their patron, and to a degree it's a bit of a workshop together, understanding like, well, hey, Earth Jinn are like this, Dow are like this, that's generally how, and in my game they're like this. So working on that so that everyone's on board is definitely a way you need to take this.
As a player, same as all Warlocks, know your spell lists, know your capabilities, and although the Bottle Respite and the Sanctuary are only once a long rest, don't just hold them like a draw 4 in Uno. Drop that every now and again just to let people know you can. Otherwise, you may never play it. Like, cast your wishes, take your turns, get your abilities out onto the field, and show people what you can do with that power.
Yeah, and if you're a player and you're thinking of using that 6th level ability, or was it 10th level ability? The one that lets you Limited Wish. The one that gets
Limited
you
Wish, yeah.
something of a 6th level spell. Look ahead and make sure that one action isn't done, because there's a few things there that aren't one action spells. You have a hot list of quick spells by the time you get to that spell. Like, hey, these are 5 hot spells that I would potentially use. All right, Mitch. Well, I think we've covered off on the Genie Warlock. We'll wrap it up there. Hey, if you've been watching this stuff, thanks very much for tuning in. I hope it's worthwhile. If there's something more out of this you want, please put it down there in the comments. If we're missing things, that we can make these things better for you. We're only making these videos for yourselves and the fact that we love D&D. So by all means, if we're missing the mark on something, let us know. Other than that, Mitch, have you got anything else before we get going?
No, mate. On to the next subclass. Let's do this. Let's educate the masses.
Catch you next time.